Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This morning I am making flatbreads using sweet potatoes. And I did a video on this about a year ago, and the video was okay, but I'm going to do a little bit better job on it this time around. So you'll have a little bit more of an idea on how to do this process. And it's a very, very simple process. You just need baked sweet potato. You don't want a ton of moisture in it, so baking is better than boiling. You could do it boiled, but it's going to take more flour if you do. So basically you just need sweet potatoes, flour, and salt. There's only 3 ingredients that go into this. And in our case, we use King Arthur measure for measure gluten-free flour. My wife and my daughter both are gluten intolerant, and they just can't eat regular gluten-y type foods. It would make them very sick if they did. So anyway, and also if you've ever had gluten-free bread, it's just not that great, honestly. It's great they make it for people who want to have a sandwich, but it's really anyway. So that being said, these potatoes, I bought them about a week ago. I used a few of them, and these have been sitting in my potato drawer, and you can see on this one they're starting to get just a little old, so I've got to use them for something. So what I've done is I've got a slice here about that thick. I'm going to do the rest of these potatoes the same way, just a medium thickness slice. I'm going to bake them in the oven until they're soft at about 400 degrees. It'll probably, at this size, maybe take 20 or 30 minutes. And then once they're baked, the peelings will come off very easily, and I can use the potato. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get these sliced up and ready to go in the oven, which should be preheated now in a couple more minutes. And we'll come back to this once they're ready to go, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we are back. My potatoes are baked. They are not as moist as I really wanted them to be, but I guess that's probably going to work out for the best anyway, because you don't want it to be really wet. So what I'm going to do is, now that they're baked and they're cooled enough to handle, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the skin. As I was saying, it's just going to peel off real easy now since it's been baked. And all this cooked potato is going to go into this big bowl here. Once the potato is in the bowl, I'm going to let it cool just a little bit more. It's still a bit warm. And then I'm going to mix it equal parts with my gluten-free flour and just add a little bit of salt for flavor. And then we will get it rolled out into flatbread pieces. You can do it any size you want. I find about that big is about as big as I want to go because they get unmanageable. But I'm going to get all this into this bowl, and then we'll get to mixing with the flour. Hey guys, so we went out and ran some errands, and during that time I let the potatoes fully cool. So now I'm adding my gluten-free flour mix to the potatoes. I've got 2.5, maybe 3 cups of potatoes here. I didn't really measure it, but it's not really important to necessarily measure. You want to try to go about half and half with your potato to your flour ratio, and you can add a little bit as needed if it gets too sticky. So now that I've got my flour added to my potatoes, it's time to get sticky. So I'm going to just kind of work the flour and the potatoes together like so. And it's going to take a little bit of doing. You got to get it all fully incorporated. But once you do, you're going to have this nice orange, well, sticky mess that you're going to want to press into your patties for your flatbread. So it's just going to take me a little bit of time here to get this fully incorporated. So I'm going to work on that for a minute. Okay, so now I've got my pan heating up. I've got some flour on my countertop, and I've got my dough all ready to go. So I'm just going to pinch off a little bit of dough here, kind of roll it up, get a little flour on it so it's not quite so sticky. Because, as I'm sure you know, sweet potato can be quite sticky. My wife had this amazing idea. When she makes pasta, she has flour in a shaker. It is the best idea because you can spread it out nice and thin and get a good coating. So I'm just going to roll this out a little bit to make a decent sized flatbread. Now you can use this to substitute in place of tortillas. So we have to use corn tortillas because flour tortillas are obviously not going to work for a gluten-free diet. and they kind of fall apart. But these do not. They actually are very stretchy, very bendy. They work out very well for stuff like tacos, burritos, sandwiches, wraps, anything you can imagine where you'd want to use a flatbread. These things are just, they're perfect. So we're just going to let this cook for a minute or two on one side, flip it, and cook it again. And that's it. So the only ingredients you've got are your sweet potatoes, you got your flour, and I didn't show you this, but I put a couple of tablespoons of salt in with the whole thing. I like a little bit of salt in my food. I don't think it's going to kill me. So anyway, this is a sweet potato flatbread. This particular recipe, I've been told, is actually the oldest bread recipe on the planet. This is something that would have been done thousands of years ago, before there was, yeast added to raise bread. It was just flatbreads like this, and they discovered sweet potatoes, flour, and salt, and you get these perfect little breads that are absolutely delicious. So you can see on this side, just got that little bit of a crust on it. It's little brown areas there. This thing, I wish you could taste it through your screen. So anyway, that is basically the whole process. You just mix up your baked sweet potatoes, your salt, your flour, you press it into a flatbread, and you fry it. This probably would have been done on a rock when it was first invented. Luckily today we have cast iron. I love cast iron. So anyway, I guess really that's about it. This is just something I like to do every now and then because my family loves it. And look how bendy and perfect that is. That is just a perfect little flatbread. So anyway, as always, if you're enjoying this content, please like, subscribe, come on back for more videos. I'm going to keep on posting, and thanks again for watching.